There's a lot of great new games out there. From your Fallouts and your Pokemons to your Insides and the Witnesses, it's a great time to be a gamer. That being said, Cole and I spend most of our time counting our YouTube money and trying to convince people to donate to our Patreon at patreon.com/invalidurl, so we simply can't play every new game that hits Steam. We here at Game Thesis are still dedicated to bringing you top-notch gaming content. So now I present to you my newest project, Games I Haven't Played. I'm Quinn, and in this episode, we'll be checking out Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls is one of the most accomplished game franchises of the past few years, gaining widespread popularity with the universally loved Dark Souls 2. I actually did play Dark Souls 2, and while I'm not convinced it lives up to its reputation as a gaming legend, I did have a fun time with it for the whole 5 hours I played last year. With such a long legacy behind it of Dark Souls 2 and literally no other games in the series, Dark Souls 3 had a lot to live up to. The first thing I noticed about Dark Souls 3 when I didn't play it was the visuals. Keeping the medieval Gothic style from the previous game, Dark Souls 3 cranks the visual fidelity up high enough to tax modern gaming PCs. I didn't have any troubles because my computer was only rendering pre-recorded videos of the game, but the result is a game that tempts you to admire its gorgeous vistas while it stabs you in the back with lovingly rendered traps and monsters. Speaking of which, the gameplay also stays fairly close to its roots. I spent my non-existent time of the game dodging and blocking attacks from ruthless baddies, waiting for the perfect time to strike. The Souls games are known for their intricate combat system that makes each encounter a kind of dance. Players have to master weaving between instant death blows while desperately trying to whittle down enemy HP. Some people say that the game is too punishing, while others claim that the difficulty is part of the charm. Personally, I find the constant death and repetition a little grating, so in my playthrough of YouTube gameplay videos, I skipped straight to the speedruns to feel the fluid movement and tactics from a master's perspective. Obviously, when you play Dark Souls 3, you'll want to spend some time configuring your character's stats and gear to fit your playstyle. This is another aspect of the game that I found tedious, as most Let's Players refuse to do the boring number crunch stuff off-screen. I had to sit through like 5 whole minutes of watching people be indecisive about minor stat changes that barely affect gameplay. Speaking of which, there's also a lot of flavor text in the game's item descriptions, giving exposition and vague hints about the story as you play. This time, the Let's Players didn't read these things at all, so we can safely say that the gamer community just doesn't care about story in their games. That's probably one of the biggest failing points about Dark Souls 3, so I expect that From Software will be taking a different approach in the next game to try and keep players invested in their story. Overall, I did enjoy the time I didn't spend with Dark Souls 3. It's a very polished game with engaging mechanics and enough content to keep players busy for hundreds of episodes. The difficulty and lackluster story may be off-putting to some, but the game still earns a solid 8.5 out of 10. Hey, thanks for watching the first episode of Games I Haven't Played. If you enjoyed my take on Dark Souls 3, you'll probably love Cole's video on the top 10 early game Dark Souls 3 trophies. I haven't seen any Let's Players earn these trophies, so they're pretty well hidden and worth finding if you're already a fan of the game. Make sure you subscribe to the Game Thesis channel for more top-notch gaming videos, and stay tuned because soon we'll be hosting another Games Done Quinn livestream featuring our lovely patrons. If you'd like to join Cole and me on the Discord chat for the stream, head on over to patreon.com/invalidurl and kick us a little cash for the work we do in the gaming community. Thanks for watching.